6 weeks before September 11th, an FBI agent sent a warning. Not about embassies, not about overseas targets, about American flight schools, about extremists learning to fly inside the United States. The memo reached FBI headquarters. Nothing happened. 6 weeks later, 4 airliners were hijacked. Nearly 3,000 people were dead. And when investigators looked back, they found something that changed everything. The warning wasn't alone. There were others. And some of what was coming was already known. Here's the part most people never hear. The hijackers didn't appear out of nowhere on September 11th. They left footprints, airline records, immigration files, phone numbers, financial transactions, intelligence reports. In many cases, those footprints were already inside government databases before the attacks. Which raises the one question that has haunted investigators for more than 20 years. How close did America actually come to stopping it? The summer of 2001 should have been deafening. In July, FBI agent Kenneth sent what became known as the Phoenix Memo, warning that suspected extremists were attending American flight schools and urging a nationwide investigation. It went nowhere. Around the same time, intelligence signals from multiple directions were pointing at the same conclusion. Al-Qaeda was planning something inside the United States. Then came Zacarias Moussaoui. Flight instructors in Minnesota grew so alarmed by his behavior, they called the FBI themselves. Agents pushed for deeper investigative authority. They were denied. Here's what makes this unbearable in hindsight. None of these warnings seemed extraordinary on their own. One memo, one intelligence report. But disasters are never hidden inside a single clue. They're hidden inside dozens of clues, scattered across agencies, across states, across countries, that nobody connects until it's too late. After September 11th, investigators spread every piece across a table, and the picture that emerged looked suddenly, terribly obvious. Before September 11th, that same picture existed only in fragments. And the most disturbing part of this story isn't what officials failed to know. It's what some of them already did. January 2000, Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia. Intelligence agencies are watching an al-Qaeda-linked meeting in real time. 2 men inside that room will board planes on September 11th. Nawaf al-Hazmi, Khalid al-Mihdhar. Officials learned critical details about both, including that they were likely heading to the United States. That information never reached the FBI, so both men entered the country freely. They rented apartments, opened bank accounts, obtained ID. They weren't hiding in caves. They weren't living under elaborate false identities. They were hiding in plain sight, inside the country they would later help attack, while their intelligence files sat locked inside a system that couldn't talk to itself. Months passed, then more months, then 2 years. And here is the sentence that should stop you cold. The problem was never that nobody knew. The problem was that the people who knew and the people who needed to know were separated by a bureaucratic wall that nobody tore down in time. Not a conspiracy, a failure. Institutional, total, and catastrophic. Only in August 2001, 5 weeks before the attacks, did a serious effort to locate them finally begin. By then, the tickets were already booked. The 9/11 Commission called it one of the most significant intelligence failures connected to the attacks. For the families of nearly 3,000 victims, it was something harder to name, a chance that existed and vanished. Then came a mystery of a different kind. Not information that was missed, information that was hidden. 28 pages from a congressional investigation into the attacks were sealed from public view for 13 years. Families asked what was inside. Lawmakers asked what was inside. Journalists asked what was inside. The answer, year after year, administration after administration, classified. When the pages were finally released in 2016, they didn't prove the Saudi government directed the attacks. But they revealed leads, contacts, allegations, investigative threads that had been examined and then locked away from every family who lost someone that morning for over a decade. Legal proceedings tied to those questions continue today. For many families, the search never ended. Because the governments did. Here's the truth. The official record rejects the biggest conspiracy theories. There is no credible evidence that the United States government orchestrated September 11th. But the official record reveals something that is, in its own way, just as hard to accept. The system had the pieces, had the names, had the warnings, had chances again and again and again. Nearly 3,000 dead, thousands more injured, wars that reshaped the world, a generation defined by a single morning in September. The tragedy of 9/11 wasn't just 19 men and 4 planes. It's that the system designed to protect this country had everything it needed, and still, the picture never came together. Kenneth Williams sent that memo in July 2001. 6 weeks later, the towers fell. Somewhere right now, there's probably another memo, another warning, another footprint nobody's connecting. The question was never whether the system could be warned. It was whether anyone was listening.